So it's time to glass the wings, and they've been cleaned and dusted off and sanded down and smooth. And there's the fuse, same, dusted off, sanded and smooth. And I'm using 50-ounce cloth. It's light and it is great stuff from Ironbark in Melbourne. And thanks to Richard for supplying me with such great products. And I'll leave a link in the description for him and his products. And here you can see I've already glassed the control surfaces. These are the flaps, and I've glassed the ailerons as well, and done second coats on the elevators and the rudder. Now, in Australia today, it is 30 degrees, sunny, and left my bombs by the garage door. And this one is 3D printed, it's fine. But my other bomb was in the sun and started to melt. So, as you can see here, I've had to fill all of the parts that have melted in the sun. Bit of a shame, but I've put some spack filler on there. It's nice and light, and then I will sand it all down back to its nice oval shape and undercoat it. You won't tell the difference. So it's all glassed in, and I'm pretty happy with that. I've gone just past half, and then I'll overlap it when I do the other side. But it looks pretty good and pretty flat. I've just finished the front half of the glassing, and it's looking pretty good. And I've also decided to glass the 3D printed parts, the guns and the front nose. And I've gone into the tunnel a little bit, just put a bit of spillage over so I can cut that off and sand it down. There's no need to really glass in the tunnel because it's 3D printed anyway. So the air inlet. So that's looking great, nice and smooth. It was a little bit tough to get into the corners, but we've done that, and then I'll turn it over and do the bottom. I've already started doing the back end of the fuse. So what I've done is just done some of the difficult parts there, the back little corner here where it's hard to get underneath. I've done there, so I've just got one strip to go along when I do the rest of the body, and I've done just part of the fin there with glass. Now onto the wings. This is the second coat of epoxy onto the wings. So nice and shiny, nicely evenly coated. And there is the second coat on the other wing. So that is also done. So I'll just go around with epoxy and coat epoxy on the plywood on the edges all the way around. I won't glass the edges. And I've also glassed all of the covers for the servos, the bombs, and I've glassed the second coat on all of the other surfaces. So all the other surfaces are glassed, 2 coats ready, both sides, and ready to go. You can see the air brake there. I've just put some tape and to make sure it doesn't stick and glue that down, but other than that, that's all there ready, and the glass is looking lovely. Nice first coat. Here are the mounts for the retracts, and what I've done here, I've made some G10 plates. I'll drill the 4 holes and add wood screws to the wing, and then I'll epoxy these through and put some bolts in, so if we have a hard landing, at least the G10 will break and not the structure of the ply. That will fit somewhere round about there, ready for the electrons. Rudder, 526 grams, 525, and then 100 grams for the surface. Elevator 301 with the surface is 365. Okay, wing is 1,777 grams, 1.7 kilos. So today is a great day. We are undercoating with our high build filler, the F86 Sabre. So I've masked everything up and I've put the top on and the rear end of the fuselage ready. I'll give it a light sand and I'll just build and fill as we go. So here's my air gun. It's just a basic cheap air gun, but it's got a 1.5 millimeter nozzle and it's a top feed, and I'm using Master Low VOC 2K primer. It's a 4:1 mix with the hardener. There's the hardener, and I've got my scales there ready, and I will use some thinners, 10% of thinners to thin it out as well. So here's the first coat on the wings. It's looking really nice, and I'm glad I spent extra time giving it a light sand beforehand, and I'm ready to coat the second coat of the fuselage. Okay, 2 coats of primer, and the wing's pretty flat. There's not much bumps and ripples. I've put a bit of a guide coat on, as you can see, those black speckles. I've just used a bit of black paint. There's a guide coat, and here's the other wing. So what I'll do is I'll sand this off and see where the high and low spots are once I've blocked it out. I think I went too heavy on the guide coat, but at least it's revealed a lot of the spots. I sanded down quite a lot. So we've cut off the canopy and it's looking nice and level. As you can see there, let's get a bit closer. Nice and level, and just a matter of now sanding down and organising what I'm going to do with the canopy and the cockpit. So after some trimming, bit of balsa work, I've finished a little bit of the canopy, so I've left a space just in case I wish to put in a scale cockpit, and just got the sizes of what I think I need and gone from there. Just quickly roughed out the canopy and left a lip, as you can see there, to go around, and then I will finish off around the edge with a bit of tape to make it nice and neat. So today I decided to redesign the canopy and make it just a little bit more scale. So I've cut out this area from the part that was in the other canopy. So I've basically cut it out from the balsa piece that I did and started doing some filling before I prep for paint. I just realized that I had to change the center of the canopy and change it to more scale. The scale F86 has the window like that around the flat screen. It flattens off there, so quick adjustment and then primer it again and we're ready to spray. So I'm almost ready to start spraying the base coat, and everything's nice and primed, and next job is to put the rivet detail on and so forth. This is the spray gun. It's got a valve so you can see your pressure and so forth. So the semi-professional gun, GRP, so I should do the trick. And then I've got all of my colours, thinners and so forth here. For the base coat I'll use a proper 2K reducer, and I've got my line tape and so forth and my different colours. So let's get at it. So finally gonna start the details. I bought a detail set and a finishing set from Mirce, and I have put on the first row of rivets. So it was a little bit difficult, a bit laborious. I stuck it on to the side of the plane so I could just use the provided tape there, but I found the tape was a little bit too sticky, so it was pulling the rivets off, even though I tried my best to pull it back on itself. So I may try some Scotch tape. I saw a few people who do that, but a lot of details to go on all the surfaces, so hopefully I can get through it pretty quick and try to follow all of the instructions and the panel lines. Marking all of the rivet details, I've started putting a couple of rows there and marking all the panel lines. What a painstaking ordeal to mark all the panel lines on a plane, but just got to be persistent and look at the drawings and try and get it correct. So I've done a little bit here of some of these panel lines, and as you can see I've put some of the rivet details and the screws, and trust me, to get screws pointing the right same way is not an easy feat, but being persistent and getting it done. So it's looking good, and all the panel lines are almost finished. I've penciled out all the lines, make sure it's all parallel, ready to go. Okay, I've finished part of one side doing all the rivets, and man, if you're looking for a way to blow 10 hours on just half of the fuse, well, this is it. So 10 hours it's taken me to put all of the rivet lines, and I haven't even finished the canopy rivet lines yet. So, and I haven't done the back fuselage yet. So 10 hours just to do the front, and man, painstaking. So got some Scotch tape and kind of scuff it up on your jacket or something so it's not as sticky, and then basically stick down a line of rivets, and then hopefully they all come off, sticking to the plane. But what I found is a lot of the rivets don't stick, so you've got to get a blade and just peel them off slowly one by one. So bit of a killer, but nice results, and at least now when I spray it, it's going to have some really nice detail. Okay, painstakingly finished the fuselage and all of the rivets. I think I'm up to 7 to 10,000 rivets all together for the whole plane. So all done, all looking good, ready for the wings and all the surfaces. I've just done the rudder with the rivets and all the parts, so ready to rumble for the next part. Okay, next job is of course the wings, and I've started marking all of the lines, trying to make sure they're perpendicular, parallel and so forth to the wing and all the details. So looking good, making a quick start, make sure everything's dust free, and it's all about having fun and making it your own. So I've finished one side of the wing, 8 hours of riveting and lines. So, but the result has been really good. Got the screw heads and rivets, and I thought I would try some of the line tape. I thought the rivets was tough, but obviously to do a straight line right the way down the wing is not easy, but I persisted. So looking good, and I'm really pleased that I managed to catch the corners with the rivets. So once I close the wing in, it's nice and lined up. So very happy with how it looks. Well, on to the next side. Both of the wings are done. The rivets and the details are done. So, gosh, I think I'm up to 15,000 rivets altogether so far. I've got the bottom of the wings to do still, but I'm just going to keep that basic, and I've got the elevators to do as well. So lots to still do, but looking amazing. Okay, wing bottoms have been done, and I've just gone for a simple scale look. The details are on there, and I've used the strips of tape just for the panel lines, and kind of running out of all of the stuff now, so but still getting some good detail on some of the stuff, and it's looking good, almost ready to paint.